Hey y'all, welcome back to another speed build. Today's is a little weird, a little different, but super fun to build. The idea behind this build was a post-apocalyptic fort or home base. So I was thinking maybe like post-zombie apocalypse, think like The Walking Dead, sort of, and a group of people who are working together to survive find this abandoned, half-constructed building and decide to make it their home base. As you can see, I've kind of started with these shipping containers stacked on top of each other. The wallpaper and roofing pieces came with eco lifestyle, and I've just kind of placed them haphazardly on top of each other as if they were abandoned here, and adding this building that will sort of be left half constructed. I imagine they stumbled across this place. It had been already abandoned when the zombies came or something. Anyway, and if you want to play through this, obviously there aren't any zombies in The Sims 4. Maybe there's a mod or something you could download, but the rest of the story is pretty playable, just there won't be any zombies. But yeah, anyway, I've got this sort of half-constructed, abandoned building, these shipping containers, and anything else that kind of gave a construction vibe, like this crane that I found in Debug that was base game, actually. I didn't really find a lot else to add in the way of construction equipment, but I think the crane gets the idea across pretty well. And I will just note that I do end up changing lots. At first I was thinking that it would make sense for this home base to be kind of sheltered by the forest in the middle of nowhere, so I chose this lot in Henford-on-Bagley. But then I was thinking, you know, this building that's being constructed seems kind of like a city apartment building, so it just didn't feel right to me. So instead I moved it to the world that came with eco lifestyle on this kind of like construction-y rundown area near the railway tracks, and it fits so much better. When I move it over there, you're gonna see it like instantly looks way better and makes a lot more sense. It looks way less out of place. Anyway, here I am finishing up the main shell of the build. I wanted to give the impression that this building that they'd found was semi-finished. The first couple of floors were done, but the second and third floor were left abandoned like halfway through construction. So to achieve that look, I took these pillars from Get Together, and then I grabbed some fences from the debug menu that I believe are base game to kind of give the impression that this project was not finished and had just been boarded off and abandoned quite hastily. So I kind of like the way that turned out. And also, if you noticed that the crane disappeared, I'm so sorry. For some reason, it kept disappearing. I think I kept accidentally deleting it as I was changing the wallpapers and stuff, but I do make sure to add it back at the very end, but you probably will notice throughout the build that it just randomly disappears, so my bad. If you notice that, no you don't. I'm so sorry. But yeah, I've also added these fences around. I was initially thinking that I would add fences around the entire build, sort of for realism's sake, I guess. Or not realism, it's a fucking zombie apocalypse, but to sort of give the impression that they'd fenced it off to be safe, which I think makes sense, but I really didn't like the way that it looked, so I decided to only semi-fence it in, which I figure is fine because there aren't any actual zombies in The Sims. But if you download this and you really wish that there were more, you can easily find those in the live edit menu and add them all the way around if you like. But yeah, I just preferred the look this way, so that's what I went with. You've probably noticed I do go back and forth quite a bit with the exterior. I changed the colors of the shipping containers a few times. I changed the brick I want to use. I also add this fire escape for a little while, but I end up getting rid of it, so bear with me as I kind of go back and forth deciding what I want to do with the exterior. One thing that I actually do keep is this semi-truck that I figure the people use to transport like materials or food if they need to go on a trip to like find supplies or something. And then I add this little carport for it to go under, and just add more fences and a bunch of random clutter like pylons and stuff. So it's kind of coming together, but it really comes together, I feel, once I switch to the other lot. So yeah, but I don't know. I was actually thinking maybe I would make some Sims to live here, you know, like go into CAS and kind of create them. I've really only ever built in The Sims, but I am very interested in like maybe making some Sims, you know, dressing them up and stuff. And there's actually a new CAS kit coming out. I think they announced 2 kits. One is like with some new clothing items, and the other one is a gameplay kit that's like movies in the backyard. I wish I could remember the names of either of them, but like there's a sheet that you can project movies onto, which is really fun. I think I would have really enjoyed that when I was a kid, but I'm not sure if I'm gonna get it just because like it doesn't seem to have a ton of build items, and if I'm gonna spend money on a kit, I probably want to get the plant kit, which I totally forgot to get when it came out. But speaking of plants, I'm just adding some ivy to the sides of this building to give that, you know, overgrown look. Like it's just been abandoned here. No one's been taking care of it. So, and I feel like that's pretty realistic depending on how long the zombie apocalypse has been going on, I guess. But yeah, let me know what you think about those kits, if you think you're gonna get them, if you're more into building or CAS. But then also a gameplay pack is coming out. I always get so confused with like packs and kits and game packs and expansion packs and how they're different or whatever, but one of the bigger ones is coming out and everyone thinks it's werewolves. And I don't have any of the occult Sims other than the aliens that came with Get to Work. Like I didn't get vampires, I didn't get spellcasters. Maybe this will be a first for me. And then as you can see, I've just switched to the new lot and I think it looks so much better here. The lighting is also better, which is nice, but yeah, it kind of came together. As soon as I moved it here, I was like, yes, this looks so much better. And then it just made sense with screenshots. Like there's all this construction on the lot, but also around the lot. It just fits perfect. Anyway, yeah, super satisfying. And I'm just adding some last little bits and pieces, some clutter, construction clutter. And as you can see, I'm adding quite a few pipes to the exterior. I thought it would be cool if maybe one of the Sims is handy. Maybe they've maxed the handiness skill and maybe they added some wiring and some piping to make this place a little more livable. So they can have like some running water for toilet and shower and a little bit of electricity. But anyway, here I am moving into the first shipping container, the yellow one. So I thought it would be cool for gameplay purposes for the Sims to kind of grow all of their own produce and ingredients. So here I am making a greenhouse. There's a couple of different places where your Sims can plant trees and crops, but this is the main one. Most of the shipping containers don't have any windows, but I decided to add some in here because it's a greenhouse, the plants need sun. So I figured maybe the handy Sim again came in and added a few windows, and then they've got the electric lights, which could help a little bit. And I fill this place with tons of planters and different plants. I even get those vertical planters from Eco Lifestyle and place them against the far wall here. So yeah, definitely a great place to grow some vegetables. There is no room up here for any of those bigger planters, you know, the ones where you can plant trees. So if your Sims do want fruit or anything like that, they're going to have to plant them somewhere else. But there are bigger planters just elsewhere on the lot. You'll see in a minute, but yeah, just adding any decorations that I thought made this place look nice. I add some wall decorations as well. I hang some herbs on the wall and some rakes and stuff like that, as well as gardening tools, and I think it comes together really nice. I will just say this build, especially the interior, is not one that I would consider aesthetic, really. Like, it's kind of ugly in a lot of ways, but that's kind of how I wanted it to be. You know, I figured they didn't have, you know, a budget. It's post-apocalyptic, so they've just collected things. So a lot of it is very thrown together and not pretty. Obviously, they had no budget to, you know, make the interior of the shipping container pretty at all, so it's just yellow. So yeah, very not the cutest build I've ever done, but if you are into aesthetic builds, maybe, you know, stick around for my next video coming out, because I do think that one's very cute. I'm doing some like very colorful villas. Super cute. Anyway, I've kind of rambled through this whole greenhouse section, and now I'm moving on to the lower level shipping containers. In a minute here, I'll section off the first of 2 bathrooms. And my vision for this bathroom, that's kind of a weird thing to say, but my vision for this bathroom was super haphazard, kind of thrown together, whatever they could find. So I figured all the plumbing that they had was either built by them or scavenged from nearby abandoned houses. So I choose a sink from Laundry Day, which is kind of wooden and I thought was really appropriate, and none of the furniture really matches in this room, which I think is very realistic for anyone who is living in a post-apocalyptic world, I guess. A lot of the piping is exposed. I'm not a plumber, but I imagine, you know, if you have limited resources, you can't really make it pretty. And then I add this divider to sort of separate the shower and bathroom area. And I even add a hose as if that was how they had to shower. I just thought that would be a fun little touch. And then I also add a little bit of detergent there as if that's also where they wash their clothes. I don't know, I thought that added to the post-apocalyptic making it work kind of vibe. And then I switch out the electric lights for some candles. So even though I said there's some electricity in here, I still wanted to add some candle lights because I just thought that would be fun and add to the vibes. And then here I am starting on the main area. So in the main building, you have the bottom floor, which is a sort of gathering area, cafeteria, cooking area. The second floor, which has one of the bedrooms, a second washroom, and a little reading nook. And then the third floor, which has the last bedroom. And then I will begin furnishing the bottom floor. So this is kind of the cafeteria and gathering space. I chose no matching furniture because, again, I really wanted to give the impression that they've just collected all of these items and done the best they could with limited resources, so none of those chairs match. I like to imagine that they collect a lot of random stuff from places around them, places nearby, anything that they think is cool or might be helpful. Like these kitchen appliances, for instance. So I actually added 2 fridges just because I liked the way it looked. Your Sims don't need 2 fridges, obviously, but I thought that's pretty realistic, especially when you don't know how often you're gonna find food. It makes sense to have a lot of space to store food when you do have it, make it last. I also add a bunch of veggies and fruits. These turnips that I found, I believe they're from Cottage Living Live Edit objects. These Live Edit pumpkins, the apples that came from Country Kitchen Kit. Yeah, just like to give the impression that a lot of their food is grown in their greenhouse. And I just finish up with a little bit of clutter, and that's pretty much it for the kitchen. Then I add a bunch of rugs as if the floor is like dirty and they've just collected these rugs. Back here I add a foosball table, but I actually do end up switching it for one of those don't knock over the llama boards. I imagine that's like Jenga. And I even add a dartboard and a couple of little things just to keep your Sims occupied. I'm just adding like little pieces of clutter and lights around and just changing little details, which was really fun in build mode, but when it came time to edit this footage, it was terrible. I was like, why did you play around so much? Like, there's so much for me to cut out. And so, yeah, and I think this build took me like 10 hours real time to build. So even after it was sped up, I still had like an hour of footage to go through, and I don't want to upload a video that's an hour long. Like, what am I going to talk about for an hour? Like, this one's only 25 minutes and I'm still struggling to think of things to say. But yeah, cutting this down to 25 minutes from an hour was almost impossible. It was so hard. So please, please, for the love of God, leave a like. No, I'm just kidding. You don't have to. I mean, feel free, but you don't have to. And of course, I'll just plug myself. Feel free to subscribe for more builds like this, or don't if you don't like it. That is totally fine. But yeah, this is the black shipping container. I wasn't really sure what I wanted to do here, but then I got inspired to add a bunch of skill building items like the woodworking table and the candle making station. I figured that's pretty realistic, you know, you need furniture, you need candles to light the place. So yeah, and especially if you have a handy sim, I'm pretty sure they're gonna like the woodworking table because that's one of the things that maxes the handiness skill, I think. And then I add one more door out here to this kind of fenced off section where I add some more planters. And these are the bigger planters, so if you want to plant trees, this is the place to do it. You know what might be fun? You know how I had said that one of the sims here is probably really handy and that's why they can have electric lights and plumbing? What if one of the sims was also like a high-level gardener or was like working on it? That could be fun. To be honest, I do a lot more building than like actual playing in the game, but that actually does sound fun. Like maybe it's a challenge, like you can't turn on the lights until one of your sims reaches like level 8 handiness and like one of your sims is trying to max the gardening skill. I don't know. I would have to figure that out and kind of flush that out, but like that could be fun. I am always kind of into like little gameplay challenges. I thought maybe I would want to do the 100 baby challenge, or like maybe I would want to do the not so berry challenge. They kind of sound fun. I don't know, like maybe I'll do some gameplay on this channel. I don't know. Yeah, so let me know if you're subscribed, if you like gameplay, if you hate gameplay. You wouldn't have to watch it, of course. You could just only watch my build videos if that was what you were into, but anyway, I just totally blabbered through that washroom, but that was the second washroom of this build, and you know, nothing special, the same exposed piping. The only thing that I probably should have mentioned was that I added a bunch of paintings in there because I was thinking that the Sims who live here are often collecting things. You know, when they're out and about scavenging for stuff, they find cool paintings at people's house and none of them really match, but you know, they grab them anyway and just kind of decorate this place. I figured the two Sims who live in this room in particular really tried to make it homey, so it's very like random, a bunch of weird things like posters that don't match and random crafts and kids paintings, but you know, even though it didn't match, they still wanted to make an effort to make their place cute, and they love to collect little things. So that was definitely the vibe and the inspiration that I got for like the bedrooms and the interior of this build. So yeah, very haphazard, very random, lots of clutter, not very aesthetic. That is the vibes. I even make a reading nook here with two bookshelves that don't even match, and then just like books all over the floor and stuff. So yeah, it's definitely not cute, but it's like appropriate, and it was really fun to build, I think. So yeah. And then in just a sec, I'll be moving upstairs to the last bedroom where I add 3 more cots and I decorate it pretty similarly. I figured the people who live in this room haven't put in as much of an effort to make it cute, but they have collected a bunch of stuff, so you'll find a lot of random clutter, posters, whatnot, little collectibles, you know, like those little bobbleheads that The Sims introduced, I think, with University. I had a couple of those in here, and I think it's really cute. So yeah. I also really wanted to mention, recently my channel got its 20th subscriber. So I know it probably sounds kind of silly because that's still a really low number, but it's crazy to me that anyone is watching my videos. So I don't know, I just appreciate y'all. So if that's you, thank you so much. And please let me know if you have any suggestions, if there's any kind of like combinations of packs that you want me to use. You've probably noticed this is not a limited pack build. I have been really bad about doing those because I just get so excited with an idea and I want to use like all of the objects that I possibly can. But I'd be really down to make a limited pack series. I think it'd be fun, kind of a challenge, and just, it's always nice to have some new inspiration. Or if there's any type of, you know, video that you'd like to see, please let me know. Yeah. You know, one thing that I've always thought would be really fun would be to organize a shell challenge. I see people like Little Simsy and Sunny Simsy most recently do little shell challenges, and they seem like so much fun. I love participating in them, but one day I'd like to run my own, and like hopefully I could offer some sort of prize, like a kit or a pack or something. It'd be so cool. I entered Sunny Simsy's build challenge a couple of weeks ago, and on stream she was touring a couple of the builds, and I entered the raffle and she toured my build, and I was like totally starstruck because she's like such a great builder, and I was like, she's looking at my build anyway. And like the funny thing is my computer is like not good enough to run the reshade that I want to run. There's like this one reshade that Sunny Simsy uses, and I think Miss Griffey uses it too, and I think it's so gorgeous, and I've always wanted to try running it, but like my computer like shuts down, like it can't handle it because it's like an old laptop that used to be my boyfriend's. But yeah, when she toured my build, it looked like beautiful because it was on like a very good computer with good graphics and like a great reshade. Anyway, I am working now on the final shipping container. This is like the important area, I imagine. There's like a map, this little model of Brindleton Bay, I think it is. I just thought this would be where they could like keep track of where they've scavenged, where they haven't, where the zombies are, and just do all their important stuff up here. I even add a desktop computer up here and one of those security cameras that came with Get to Work, so that they can like, someone could be the lookout. There's no gameplay for this, it's all pretend, but I just imagine that like it would make sense for someone to be up all night being the lookout. And if you are interested in playing in this build or in any of my other builds, I will add my gallery ID down below. And this has been play tested. Everything is functional and works great. There is one exception though. I have added some planters right here, and I've added veggies to them, like from Cottage Living, just as decoration for aesthetic purposes. So if you want to plant in these planters, you just have to delete those veggies and then it works just fine. But yeah, we're almost done. I just add a bee box and an insect home, and then we're done. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'm super excited for the next one. So thank you so much. Peace out. Bye. Bye.